The failure today of that large-scale evacuation attempt to get people out of the devastated city of Mariupol. My co-anchor Terry Moran joining us now on the ground there in Lviv to talk about all the developments. So Terry, what can you tell us about just the obstacles that they faced during this evacuation?
It's just too dangerous, Kira. That's what the Red Cross says. They had buses that were ready to go in down what Russia was guaranteeing was a humanitarian corridor to rescue people, some of the 100,000 people still left in Mariupol, that crucial port city on the Black Sea that has become Russia's main target in the war right now. The Russians really want to get a hold of this city because it would lock in their control of most of that seacoast and link Russia and Crimea, the territory, that peninsula they took back in 2014. But when the Red Cross went down the road, there was still too much fighting. And it looks as if, once again, perhaps Russia was guaranteeing a humanitarian corridor that either they couldn't secure or didn't really intend to from the beginning. Now, there were a few buses that got out that were already inside. The mayor of Mariupol has just been heroic trying to organize these evacuations. They got 6,000 people out. Still roughly 100,000 people left in that city. You've seen the pictures. You're looking at them. There's nothing left there. Imagine trying to eat, find water, bathe, take care of yourself, and keep safe at the same time in a city that was once the size of Miami. It is a humanitarian catastrophe.
And as we follow the humanitarian catastrophe, Terry, you know, peace talks still underway today, virtually, between Ukrainian and Russian negotiators. Is there any reason to think that they are any closer to a deal with some teeth?
You know, not anytime soon, Kara. There's no question that President Zelensky has come to the table with real ideas that would answer some of what Vladimir Putin has said are Russia's major concerns about Ukraine. He has come to the table with a pledge not to join NATO, with a pledge that it would remain, that Ukraine would remain neutral, with an offer that all Russia has to do is withdraw to territories it already occupied when the war began. That would be Crimea and those breakaway areas in eastern Ukraine. But that is the sticking point for Russia. The notion that Russia would have to withdraw from Kyiv, from Kharkiv, from all of the areas, from Mariupol, all the way back to their original starting positions, right now is a non-starter. And so it looks like both sides are going to continue to slug it out until there's been enough blood spilled that both sides are exhausted or one side gives up. And that's not going to happen soon.
So how would you characterize the troop movements right now and just the momentum of this war?
You know, the Ukrainian army, astonishing most of the world, has managed to fight Russia to a stalemate in most places. That's the basic state of this war. However, around Kyiv, north of Kyiv, with some ferocious counterattacks, they have succeeded in driving Russian forces back from the capital. Seizing the capital was clearly one of Russia's main early goals in this war. Not only are they not making advances on it, but they're withdrawing, probably to resupply, to reposition themselves for another go at Kyiv. Now, in the eastern part of the country, Russia is making advances there. That is something that was an original main goal of Russia as well. Take that whole eastern chunk of eastern Ukraine called the Donbass, and they are making gains out there. The real risk right now is that if those troops succeed in taking Mariupol in the south, they may then turn straight north and encircle and trap most of Ukraine's army between the Russians in the east and the Russians coming up from the south. That is a great danger that most military experts say the Ukrainians have to be very, very wary of.
And Terry, you know, in covering the day-to-day troop movements and wins and losses in this war, it's very easy to lose sight of all the lives that have been lost and the very real human toll of this war. And I know you had an opportunity to actually attend a funeral there. Tell us about that, and what was that like?
You know, there are funerals every day here in Lviv and in towns and cities across this country. We were at a funeral for 3 fallen soldiers here in Lviv, and it was devastating, of course. It was tragic, but also beautiful in a strange way, because these are men who made the ultimate sacrifice. They gave their lives, laid down their lives for their homeland, for their country, and that ennobles their death inevitably, but here in Ukraine especially, because unlike in our country, when of course we mourned the dead from the long wars of this century, not many of us were involved in that effort. Every single Ukrainian is in this fight. And these were not only their defenders, of course, they were their sons and brothers and husbands, but they were also their comrades. This country is shoulder to shoulder, 40 million strong, against Russia. And so the feeling in this funeral and the burial service was unbelievably sad, unbelievably proud, and unbelievably determined.
Appreciate your reporting, Terry. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.